Welcome, Pro Wrestling 225 family. I'm Spencer here with Landon, and we are just one night away from VHS Wrestling in Gonzales, Louisiana. That's right, Pro Wrestling 225 is going back to the 80s, and there's still time for you to get tickets at ProWrestling225.com. Yesterday on our channel, we got the exclusive interview that Gabby Davis had with Pro Wrestling 225 Heavyweight Champion Vladimir Koloff. We are now just over a month away from Destined Forever, the rematch that everyone has been waiting for. Vladimir Koloff versus Xtian Blake. And Landon, Vladimir Koloff had some very, very strong words to say with Gabby Davis. Specifically, the thing that comes to mind is for him at Destined Forever, there is no win or lose. It is win or die.
Spencer, it has been a roller coaster ride back and forth between Vladimir Koloff and Xtian Blake over the past 12 months. But the man who has been in the center of it all the entire time is our general manager, Brett Ian Landry. And here now for an exclusive interview, thanks to Gabby Davis, is that man. Here we go.
I love you.
General Manager Brett Ian Landry, thank you so much for joining me tonight. This is going to be really quick. I know you have, your general manager duties to take care of, and I'm aware of that. So, yeah, but let's start with, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well, Gabby. Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you taking out the time, and I'm happy to talk to you.
I'm not sure if you got a chance to see the interview I did with Vladimir Koloff a couple of days ago.
Yeah, I caught it.
Yeah, Xtian Blake and Vladimir Koloff have had issues for years. And as general manager and a friend of Xtian Blake, where do you stand in all of this?
Well, more so than both of those things, I ran across Vlad's path when he first came to Pro Wrestling 225. This was over 5 years ago. The Overboys were just on the up-and-coming tag team ranks, Xtian and Jordan Ja. And Vladimir Koloff was a member of a tag team called The Pride with Charles West. And in their clashes over not just the Pro Wrestling 225 tag team titles, but in contention for those titles, things got very personal very quickly. I'll never forget my first encounter with Vlad. He found my address, my home address, and he broke the handles off of my car, all the door handles. Him and Charles, presumably, broke all the handles off my door, preventing me from coming to the show and preventing me from being at ringside with Xtian and Jordan. So I've always known his underhanded tactics. I've been well aware of them. And it's a shame because, and I've said this publicly in the past too, and it's true. Vladimir Koloff is an incredible athlete. He is big. He is strong. What he does in the ring doesn't need what he does out of the ring. His attitude and the way he carries himself and the actions outside of the ring are unbecoming of the kind of athlete that he is. So I don't know what his issue is. I think he might enjoy harming people. I think he might enjoy making things miserable for others, playing mind games. He gets some sort of perverse joy out of that, I suppose. But neither here nor there, I guess. He has known where I've lived for a very long time. He has known Xtian and I for a very long time, as we have known him. As a matter of fact, I fondly remember a Fright Night a few years ago where I was dressed as Kevin Owens, and I gave Vladimir Koloff a stone cold stunner, I guess a KO stunner, right in the middle of the 225 ring, and man, that felt really good. And I don't think Vlad ever forgot that either. So to say that there have been long-standing and long-running problems is an understatement.
Now, there have been times where people would say you've gotten involved in Blake's issues. There was the whole Michael White situation, the contract signing. Is your friendship with Blake clouding your judgment as a general manager?
I will say that confidently, now, I can tell you no. But if we're talking about a year ago, I'm not really sure if that's true. Again, as you and everyone at Pro Wrestling 225, fans and staff alike, are aware, I had to step down from my managerial duties of the Overboys. I had to stop being the second at ringside for both Christian and Jordan. I had to give that up in order to take this role as general manager. And that is not something I did lightly. It was a decision that weighed very heavily on me, but I believe in Pro Wrestling 225 very deeply, and I care for the fans very deeply. I care for the product very deeply. And I knew the opportunity as GM was one that I didn't want to pass up, so I took it. And that opportunity took me away from my friends. And a lesson that it taught me very harshly was you can't favor your friends. And I wasn't trying to. Truthfully, honestly, it wasn't something I was attempting to do. I wasn't in it to favor Christian or to favor Jordan. I wasn't there to give them special treatment. I didn't become GM to like secure the Overboys at the top forever. It just, subconsciously you kind of give these opportunities to the people that you care about. And I didn't want there to be any kind of nepotism in my governing. And even if I wasn't trying, there was. So I had to recognize that about myself, and I had to step back and do not just what was right by the fans, but what was best for business. And sometimes doing that means getting in the way of my friends. I know how badly Christian wanted to enter Super Gold. He shouldn't have because of what Michael White did to him, the effects of that chloroform or whatever it was. He shouldn't have been in that match. But as both a friend and a boss, he defied me and he entered the match anyway. And he won. So, I mean, what I guess my argument's a bit moot, right? But I've been recently kind of finding myself saving Christian from himself. I feel like I know him better than anybody. Maybe next to Jordan, right? I feel like I know him better than anyone, and I know that he has a very, very short fuse that burns very, very hot, and he could get himself hurt and get other people hurt. I know he wants to be champion, and I would love to see him be Pro Wrestling 225 champion again, but not at the expense of his own health, be that mental or physical. So, again, I know that's not entirely my responsibility because I have a responsibility to the entire roster and everyone that works for this company. But this is so close to the precipice with Vlad. This is right at the end. This is the pinnacle, the apex. And I don't want to see Christian fall because of something of his own doing. I just want there to be a level playing field. And if I need to intervene and if I need to step in to make sure that that happens, so be it.
So, for that defiance at Super Gold, were there any repercussions?
It's a good question. I probably would have fined him if it wasn't for the fact that he won. I mean, you win Super Gold. It's over 30 other competitors. You earn a championship match. It's an incredible feat. And, some would argue, oh, well, he was the final entrant. Yes, that is true. But he also left our medical station in the back to do that. He got past EMTs and security to get there. And myself and our referees were not able to stop him from getting in. And if the match turned out a different way, then yeah, I probably would have fined him. I don't want to say I don't want to say an amount. I don't want to say if I would have suspended him or not. I mean, those are all what ifs. But yeah, I mean, against his better judgment and against my wishes, again, for not just one of my top stars on the roster, but for my friend, I didn't want to see him compete in a match like that hurt. But he did. And again, It's not that he proved me wrong, but he won. So I mean, I can't take that away from him. He won Super Gold twice. He's the only competitor in Pro Wrestling 225 history to have won Super Gold twice. So I mean, I can't find him for that, you know. But if the outcome were different, then my answer probably would have been different too.
What do you have to say to those in the locker room who do feel there's some favoritism?
It's going to be natural. I mean, I get it. I've spent years in that locker room as one of the boys. You know, I managed Christian and Jordan for years, and everybody there knows me. Some people like me, some people don't, but that's the nature of the wrestling business. So of course, there's going to be animosity when someone like me takes an executive position. And then on top of that, there's going to be people that automatically assume that I'm just going to favor everybody that I was close with. Oh, the Overboys and the Pillar, and you know everybody's going to get. If they were friends with Brett, they're going to be to the top. And the fact of the matter is, like I said, first of all, it's not true. And second, even at the beginning, if it was something that I wanted to be true, it's something that I've grown out of since. The fact of the matter is, the athletes in the Pillar, like Braxton Hunter, Alex Braddock, Jace Miles, T Gaines, they're incredible athletes, just like Xtian Blake and Jordan Jah are, just like so many others on the Pro Wrestling 225 roster are. I want to give opportunities to the best. If it just so happens that the best are some of my friends, so be it. But I am not looking at this through a lens of the good old boy system, you know, the brother system. I am many, many things, but a carny is not one of them. I'm going to give the opportunities to those who deserve it. And the fans also have a voice in that too. But I'm not going to give anybody an opportunity just because they're Brett's friend. And that also might rub some of my friends the wrong way too. But again, what's best for business isn't what's best for Brett. It's what's best for the Pro Wrestling 225 brand, period.
Now, in that interview that I did do with Koloff, he did make some threats against you and your family, you know, if you were to keep getting involved in him and Blake's issues. What's your response to that?
My response to that is that Vlad goes beyond unprofessionalism. I said earlier about the mind games that he likes to play. I know he knows where I live. I know he knows what my wife and my children look like. He has never truly crossed that line, but he has put his toes on it before. And Vlad, I hope you're watching. Because what I'll say is this. Beyond being the Pro Wrestling 225 general manager, beyond being an overboy, beyond any and all of that, when you strip all of that away, at the end of the day, I'm a husband, I'm a father, and I'm a man. And if you ever dare to cross that line, I am willing to do things that you cannot imagine. So you keep yourself away from my wife, my children. You keep this at Pro Wrestling 225 events, and we will handle it there like professionals. Because if you cross that line, you will not come back to the other side.
And Koloff did mention that if Blake were to lose at Destined Forever in July in Denham Springs, that he will not get another championship opportunity. And I just wanted to know, can he do that?
He might think he can. He might think he can throw his weight around like that, but we all know that that's not true. Look, as the general manager, there's only one other person in this company that has any authority or say above me, and that is Jordy. As the president, he controls the operations of the company. Jordy and I have had our issues with one another, and I mean, there's going to be friction, especially when there's careers at stake, like with the Mike White issues, and that was hard. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. That was very difficult, but I'm not fired, and Jordy hired me in this position for a reason. So even though we might disagree sometimes, he knows that I'm the best man for the job, and any decision that I make, he'll be supportive of, and even begrudgingly. So if I wanted to, right now, I could strip Vladimir Koloff of the heavyweight title. I could fire Vladimir Koloff and ban him from events. I could literally hand the Pro Wrestling 225 Heavyweight Championship to Xtian Blake. I could crown him champion right now with a snap of my fingers. Why have I not done that yet? It's exactly what we've been talking about this entire time. I am not some corrupt bureaucrat. Like that is not what's happening here. It is athletic competition for championship gold. That's what it's going to be. May the best man win, right? I am the person that decides this. Yeah, you know what? If Xtian loses, he's probably not going to get a shot at the title again right away. He earned it in Super Gold in the first place. Well, he'll have to work his way back up through the rankings and earn it again. Same thing happens if Vlad loses. If Vlad loses, yeah, he's the reigning champion. He's been champion, as a matter of fact, the longest reigning champion in Pro Wrestling 225 history. Longest single reign as heavyweight champion out of anybody all time in our company. He's absolutely guaranteed a champion's rematch if he loses. Of course he is. And it's his prerogative as to when he would like to cash that in. That's how it goes. If Vlad were to lose, and then he has that match, and then he were to lose that match, right? Just like anybody else, he would have to work his way from the bottom back to the top. I'm not handing out opportunities like candy on Halloween. That's not what we're doing. So if Vlad thinks that he's not going to give Xtian another championship match, well, he's kind of right. He's not going to right away. But if Xtian earns it, then he's going to get it. And same goes for anybody else that might earn that opportunity. And if he feels that he's got some kind of power or authority over what happens with him and his title, I would love to have that conversation with him.
All righty. Is there anything else that you'd like to add before we conclude this interview?
The only thing that I want to add is a thank you to the fans. Thank you so much for supporting Pro Wrestling 225. Thank you so much for following everything that we've done, both live and in person and on social media. And we will see you at Destined Forever, July 26th, Denham Springs, North Park, for one of the biggest shows and one of the biggest main events we have ever done. Thank you so much.